The movie tells the story of an island where any wish can be fulfilled. But the condition is that you have to sacrifice someone else's life. So what makes this film, dubbed a blend of Inception and the Butterfly Effect, so remarkable? The story begins with a life-threatening escape in the dead of night. A blonde woman runs through a dense jungle and frantically calls for help in a villa. "I've been kidnapped! Please save me!" Just as she finishes speaking, men in black swarm in, completely ignoring her screams, and forcibly carry her back into the darkness. 4 days later, a seaplane skims over the blue sea and smoothly docks at the pier. A seaplane arrives at an island, and 5 individuals disembark. Little May, wearing short shorts, Brother G, who is fit and strong, the inseparable duo A Wei and A Ming, and the alluring Sister Mai. Upon their arrival, Assistant A Mei greets them warmly to Fantasy Island, a place distant from reality where dreams are fulfilled. It is owned by Chen Tiaoshu, who purchased it with gold bars. After the introduction, Sister Mai, in the midst of changing, senses something unusual, but finds nothing amiss. Chen Tiaoshu then arrives, halting Sister Mai's unsettling thoughts, and prepares to make an announcement. The dream begins. The first to realize their dreams are Ah Wei and Ah Ming, a pair of brothers who care for each other like parents. At a swimsuit party grander than a lavish feast, the 2 brothers are seen exhaling smoke rings, briefly noticing a ghostly figure pass by, but dismissing it entirely. Sister Mai, regretting rejecting her boyfriend's proposal 5 years ago, wishes to return to the past to say, "I love you," to her beloved. Upon hearing this, the signing strip guided her to the entrance of the corridor. Maiji steps into the world beyond the door, instantly as if she witnesses her boyfriend Chang Ge actually appear. Hearing his woman's incoherent words, Chang Ge shows a puzzled expression, like a question mark face, and says, "We haven't seen each other for 5 years. We just parted yesterday, only 24 hours ago." Little May, the third to enter the dream, was often teased for being under 100 pounds, implying she was small or flat-chested. Her wish was to get back at Sister Jin for making snide remarks. When she saw Sister Jin, bound and drenched, May was thrilled as the holographic projection felt real. However, after posting a video of Jin's affair on WeChat, the screen showed Jin being dragged away by a man in black, shocking May. She rushed to make a call, realizing the situation had escalated dangerously. But before she could speak, a large masked man appeared, resembling a character from The Silence of the Lambs, indicating things had spiraled out of control. Seeing the masked man about to strike lethally, Xiaomei quickly pressed the electric shock and water splash buttons. As sparks flew and a smell of barbecue wafted through the air, Sister Jin was saved. Meanwhile, the last one to realize his dream, Jiage, encountered an inconceivable event. Since childhood, Jiage admired his soldier father, but unfortunately, he couldn't join the army when he grew up, and became a patrol officer instead. This time, he aimed to experience his true self in the jungle battlefield. However, Jiage had barely taken a couple of steps when an old man in ragged blue and green clothes rushed at him with a knife, mumbling that it's still not too late to run. Suddenly, footsteps approached. The old man turned and fled immediately, and upon closer look, the one approaching was none other than Biao Shu, his father whom he dreamed of night and day. But wait, hadn't my father died in battle long ago? With this thought, he shouted in anger that this cosplay was too insulting, and you actually hired someone to impersonate my dad. In response to him was a ruthless gunshot. Jack saw his bleeding arm and only said one thing. "Damn, you guys are playing for real. Dream Island isn't just an imaginary place. It's serious about fulfilling wishes." When Sister Mai accepted Brother Chang's proposal, a surprised daughter appeared. Sister Mai was puzzled, as the daughter didn't resemble her at all. Meanwhile, in their opulent mansion, Awai and Aming found themselves in a perilous situation, faced with an assassination attempt complete with sniper rifles. Trapped by masked robbers in their bedroom, they were issued a chilling ultimatum. Hand over our goods, or face the consequences. The tension and danger were palpable as they navigated this unexpected threat. What merchandise? Awai was thrown into panic as the film shifted from romance to a gangster shootout. Jiega woke up from a blood-induced fainting spell and revealed his identity to Biao Shu, expressing a deep longing for reconnection with her late father, who heroically died over 20 years ago. Determined not to let Biao Shu face a similar fate, she held firm. Meanwhile, Xiaomei and Jinji stumbled upon their masked assailant in the forest. Just as Jinji faced imminent danger, A mysteriously elderly figure wielded a massive sword, saving her. The trio then followed the old man through a mysterious path, bridging the gap between their past and uncertain future. After the underground dark river reached the dim cavern, the old man pointed to the glowing crystal stone in front of him, and revealed the hidden evil truth of Dream Island. His real name is Maoli, and he is a private detective. Previously, a patron endowed him with the power of Dream Island, heavily commissioning him to investigate here. Later, Maoli learned that the black water soaked by the crystal stone had magical powers. Once people drank it, they could make wishes at will. Looking at the scene reflected by the crystal stone, Sister Jin realized she had been deceived. "Good for you, Xiaomei. Stop pretending to be dumb. I was kidnapped here because you wanted to get me," she said angrily. As the two women exchanged heated words, Sister Mai proposed the idea of making a new wish. Jian Tiaoshu once cryptically said that only by meeting the guest's demands could she become the owner of Dream Island, and her wife could survive. With no choice, Jian Tiaoshu reluctantly agreed to Sister Mai's request, and led her to the entrance of the corridor a second time. The biggest regret in a woman's life was not the proposal, but the fire that happened in the apartment 6 years ago. She stood by and watched, which led to her neighbor, Mu, being burned alive and turned into Aja. Unable to live with her guilt, she decided to save others. As she stepped onto the staircase, Sister Mai suddenly realized that Wei and Ming were tenants of the same apartment building, and Brother Ji was the policeman on duty at the scene back then. The two brothers were only concerned with escape, and Jiegei's cowardice and timidity indirectly led to Mu's death. The ghostly figure that kept appearing on the island was none other than Mu. Sadly, when Sister Mai burst into the fire, she couldn't find Mu after feeling around, and she ended up collapsing from suffocation. Fortunately, Assistant Ame noticed smoke wafting out from under the wooden door, and decisively saved Sister Mai, who was about to be roasted alive. After waking up, Masi felt a tingling on her scalp. The dream had reset, and she still hadn't managed to rescue Mu. This indicated that she had just entered someone else's dream. Yes, the monsters in the dream possessed immortality. The masked man had clearly been stabbed through the heart by Maori, yet he soon returned with full health. Maori, seeing the girl with no escape route, picked up the masked man and threw him off the cliff. Meanwhile, Awe and Omin feigned surrender, then picked up weapons for a wave of counterattack. After their successful comeback, they encountered heavily armed Jigger and Biao Shu Bei too, who tried to seize their guns and regain control. Instead, they were shot into Swiss cheese. They were happy, but for 3 seconds before the corpses on the ground exploded with a thud. Awe suddenly looked in shock at his own chest, saying, "I'm dead." Faced with this group of smoke-painted zombies, Jiga was unable to save his father, watching helplessly as he and his teammates were easily wiped out. After narrowly escaping death, they found the island owner and signed a contract. Jige revealed his reasoning that they were not here to fulfill their dreams, but were deceived into someone else's dream of revenge. Everyone was connected to Mu's death, and even Xiao Mei was once Mu's online friend. The two originally planned to meet in real life, but the girl, lacking confidence at the crucial moment, ghosted Mu. At this point in the conversation, the contract was laid out clearly. Yes, this was indeed a dream of revenge, and by the rules, they all had to die. So whose dream of revenge is it? Don't worry, the answer will be revealed soon. After the plane that came to pick them up exploded in the sky, the route to escape Fantasy Island was completely destroyed. Mai frowned and noted down the situation, suggesting that it might be better to smash the crystal stone to end the nightmare. But when they returned to the cave, an unexpected twist occurred. After several turns, everyone inexplicably lost their companions and encountered their inner demons. Amin saw the deceased Awe. Jinji faced a terrifying doppelganger. Bai Jin not only ran into a ghost doll, but also saw the resurrected Amu. Brother Ji was dragged underwater by his father's bid documents, struggling to climb ashore only to be stabbed in the abdomen by Xiao Mei. At that moment, the truth was revealed. Xiao Mei was the mastermind behind it all. He lied. The day of the disaster he had already gathered the courage to meet, but was stood up by Amu. After the fact, he found out that his sweetheart didn't come to the appointment because she had already died. At the same time, the girl in love had a mental breakdown. Upon learning that Neverland could fulfill dreams, she found Jian Tiaoshu in advance and made a wish for revenge. As for the island owner, Jian Tiaoshu, he also had a secret buried deep in his heart. Ame was not his assistant at all, but his beloved wife. After Ame, who was suffering from a terminal illness, died, Jian Tiaoshu sold his soul. The resurrected Ame fell into a horror cruise-like cycle, repeatedly dying from illness, and then coming back to life again. Knowing such a cruel truth, Ami pleaded to Jian Tiaoshu, "Dear, have you heard the song, 'The Last Love is to Let Go'? If you love me, Let me go. He watched the engagement ring disappear in his palm. Qian Tiaoshu finally grasped what love truly means. He looked at the captives and hinted to Jinji about making a wish with black water. Jinji, realizing this, drank it down with determination, declaring her wish for Xiao Mei and Amu to unite in love. Suddenly, Amu, appearing almost ghostly, emerged from a wishing pool and pulled Xiao Mei into the black water. Desperate, Xiao Mei brandished a hand grenade, intending a final act of defiance. Surprisingly, Jiegu, known for his cowardice, bravely stepped up to fulfill Xiao Mei's heroic dream. The crowd, feeling a mix of emotions, returned to the brightness outside, waiting for the plane to take them back to the real world. The signed document, with its profound meaning, tells Amin that previously, he and Awei shared a dream. Does he want perhaps a wish? Amin blurted out, "I wish Awei would come back to life and return to his hometown, Majiatun." The moment to witness a miracle had arrived. Awei indeed leaned out of the cockpit and waved goodbye to Amin. He took along Sister Mai and Sister Jin, soaring across the sky, departing leisurely. Meanwhile, Amin had to stick to his promise to forever stay with Chiandai Shu on Dream Island, welcoming the next batch of guests.